Hey everyone, how are we this evening? Just thought I'd jump on because a few people have been asking me to do some more, so I just thought I'd do a quick one as I'm going away for a week. Say hello. I'm here to answer any questions you might have to do with music production.
Hey everyone, how are we
This evening? Just thought I'd jump on. Yeah, so who have we got watching? Come and say hello. Working on this project here. It's a track we did for Alex Mills, but we didn't. She blew up, and we didn't use it in the end. And it's a collaboration between myself and Cash Only. You may know Sam Devine's husband, and it's a bit of a garage number. We had a vocal on it, but obviously we've had to take it off. So now we're looking for a vocalist. So, yeah. So if you're a vocalist and you think you might like this track, give us a shout. Okay. So let's have a listen to it. So yeah, it's quite simple. It's just a bit of a garagey number. We might get some pads in there, but what we've done is we had, like I said, we had a vocal, and Cash is very garagey and I'm very housey, so we've kind of met in the middle. And this will probably change a lot, but it's got the structure there for a vocal, and this is, I don't go too far when it comes to sending tracks to vocalists. You don't want to be giving them too many melodies, too much anything else, because it's always better to get the vocalist to be able to imagine what's in their head, sing it on the song, and then, you know, write the music around the vocal. That's the key to it. So it's just the backbone of a track. And even though we did have a vocal, but we chopped up the vocal loads. And like I said, it was Alex Mills's vocal, which we haven't got there now. But it's the best way to send vocalists. I don't want to give us the full structure. Some people say, you know, give them a verse and a chorus and they'll write to that. But I disagree. I think when you're sending tracks to vocalists, that the more structure you have, the more variation they'll give you to the vocal, and they'll sing to the music when the track's busier, when the track's quieter, and you can get more out of them. And then you can ask them to do your set of ad-libs from the beginning to the end, and use them, chop them up, do whatever you want with them. But yeah, this is a garagey track. I'll go into it and show you what we've done. So, normal kick. Just a kick from a sample pack. Bit of a Waves DB60 on there. Doesn't sound like it's doing anything. Maybe just tighten up this bottom end type. Yeah, it's not doing anything, that. And then we've got the drums. Well, So what I've done for this is we created a sample pack, me and Matt, for all the garage stuff. It's all quite lo-fi. So if we go down here, so a lot of it's sampled, because back in the day, garage was just samples. We just did it all as samplers. So these are like some of the hats we've got. Again, some of them sampled, just a bit more lo-fi. You know, 12-bit distorted, you know, not too drum machine. And then closed hats are quite similar. And again, just to make sure that we've got, it's all really lo-fi. It's all like kind of sampled. A lot of them I took off vinyl. Claps quite simple. You know, it's not your typical, like, I wouldn't necessarily use all these in my house tracks. They're a bit more lo-fi and old school and that kind of raw, because that's what garage was. So garage, you know, was samples. It was all samples. Everything was sampled, you know, because it was really kind of just at the beginning of computers and everything. So we'd have the S1000 or the MPC or the SP1200 or whatever people had, and they'd just sample it in off other records if they didn't have like a 909 or an 808. So all I've done is create a sample pack, which is what I get all my clients to do, of just sounds. So some bass hits. And got the grooves from the swing that I really like. And then I've not really spent a lot of time on this, but yeah. And then just finding sounds and stuff that all works with the genre, so that when I come to start a track, I've got them all in straight away. Now, I think the synth sounds from these, let's have a quick listen. No, they're from my sample pack. Oh, there's some more. That's a really cool sound. So like for this now, I might say, okay, I want to get a, you know, just, this is how we did it back in the day, was just get a sampler in. Go to that sound, drag that in. And then what you have to do in this is you would have to bring this back and do a bit of a mode where it does this later on, so it goes. Just come up with some kind of pads that go with the track, you know, and then I might just get an EQ on there. Hey everyone, any questions, just feel free to ask. This is what I'm here for. So I'll go to my EQs, get that. Just create a pattern, and then what it'll do is keep looping backwards forwards. So what I did then, I dropped it in the sampler and I made it so that it's sustain mode, means when it hits the end it comes back. and then I just loop that bit, which means I can then get this sound and play it for much longer. And then I can mess around with it. I can do all that. I would generally put on there like some kind of phaser or flanger or something. Let's have a look what we've got here. Phase Mistress will probably do the job. It's running a bit slow tonight, the computer, for some reason. Okay. And then add something like that. So I might just do a just record something in. Okay, so find the notes, bring them forward. It's a massive delay today for some reason on my computer. So that's just from one little stab, and what we've done is we've got it in, we've put it to Phase Mistress. And then might just try and add a little bit of delay just to make it a bit wider. Like an Echo Boy or something. So you got that. And then maybe a bit of ping pong. See how that sounds? And then, yeah, I think that sounds like really good, but that's just from one sample, and that's really what Garage was all about, really. And we've just got these stabs. So we've got the bass. So the bass will probably change. It's a little bit housey at the moment, really. We'll probably make it a bit more garagey, but it's from the Moog. But it's good enough to get the vocal down. And I've got a bit of EQ, a bit of saturation around 400 or 1K, just to bring the top of the bass through. And I've got Bass Lane Pro. So Bass Lane Pro just helps make the bass a bit wider. Say hello, everyone. We're in the chat. If there's any questions you want to ask me, just fire away. I'm just talking about this track I've got coming up with Cash Only. It's just a bit of a demo ready for some vocalists. So this plugin, what this does is just makes it seem like bass is wider, and it just creates like harmonics on the sides with some kind of psychoacoustic thing to trick you to make it sound wider. So let's have a listen to that. Okay, obviously the bass is just a quick recording. Sounds a bit funny that actually. It might be the quantized wrong, to be honest with you. That's weird. So it's not warped weird, it just needs re-recording. So so yeah, so we've got the bass lane. It just makes it seem to be a bit wide. It's a really good plugin. It's also really good at recovering sounds that are stereo, but when you press mono, nothing's there. It kind of recovers. It's really good for little things like that. So that's on the bass. And again, we're going to change the bass. String is just an M1. So the lead synth is just a stab, which I'm assuming is just from my sample pack. Oh no, it's not. It's actually a preset from Serum that we got off Splice called Chord Donor C1. And we've got that, put it in. Rolled off a bit of the bottom end. Used Bassline Pro on that again because it was a bit weird. So it recovered the sound, a lot of it, for the mono recovery, so it sounded better in the center, and then boosted it at 400 on the sides, and it just sounded better. Obviously, I've used Space Control there by Acoustica, so that didn't work. Well, it did work, and then I've tried Ozone, and it just sounded like the best one to do. It just sounded like the best thing. I never go for one thing when it comes to stereo spreading and imaging. And this plugin this time works. Sometimes it might be Space Control, sometimes it might be Ozone Imager, sometimes it might be Leapwing. But yeah, I've used that on the lead synth, and it's a pretty good sound. So there's not much that needed to be done to that, to be quite honest with you. Hi everyone, if you want to ask any questions, just give us a shout regarding music production. That's what I'm here for. Okay, synth stabs. Same thing again, Serum. Let's have a look at that. And again, it's a really good, Serum's Splice is really good for getting chord sound, for synth sound, and actual samples that you can just drag in, and you can manipulate them as much as you can within the sampler, because it's a sampler when you're bringing them in. And then on that, I added a bit of old school tape delay. And then I clipped it. Now I clipped it quite hard because I really wanted to hear that sound of the clipping. That's with it. This is without it. So it's just got a little bit more edge on the attack as it hits, and it sounds really nice. Plus, it helps it with the track. So yes, that's the chord stab. And the vocals we've got there, and we had Alex Mills's vocals, and that's it. So yeah, so basically it's all ready to go. It's just we don't send like loads of complex patterns and melodies to singers, because we want the basic feeling and movement. We let them sing it, and then we write the music around them. It's always good for the questions and answers and all that kind of stuff. If you write a really kind of complicated melody in there before you send it to a singer, they can come up with something that's just a bit too busy all the time, whereas just with the basics, they might lead us with the melodies as opposed to us leading them, and a lot of vocalists seem to prefer that. But yeah, it's a lovely little song. Let's have a listen to it all together. As you can see here, I mean, what's happened is we've got the vocal, and I haven't got, it was Alex Mills' vocal, so I can't manage that. I can't, it's not there anywhere. So let me just try and find a bit of a vocal somewhere, drag that in and show you what I was doing. So we were just chopping the vocal up. That was it, really. Just try and find a bit of a vocal. They're not going to do anything. Yeah. In fact, I might have some in my sample pack vocals. And then we chopped it up, but obviously it's not working on this one. So, so yeah, any questions, anybody, regarding music production or anything else? But that's what we did. We will get it and we'll chop it up. We'll make grooves out of it and everything else. So, yes, that's that. Just thought I'd jump on quickly. Most people are asking questions by now. What I'll do is I'll play you the original version with a bit of the chopped vocal. Obviously I can't play too much of it, but we'll just get the vocal, chop it up, and that adds to the groove. And yeah, that was this track that I did with cash only. Any questions for me, anybody? Okay, and then what I do is I create groups, and then what I do is I put an oscillator on because I want to see what's the loudest, and I colour each one. And what that does is just helps me to see what's popping through the mix most, which is going to see the limiter, which then means I might need to work on. So in this one I've got the kick, I've got the bass, I've got the percussion, I put one on the music. And what happens is, because I'm colouring it the way that I normally work, I'll be able to see everything and see what's popping through and what's the loudest things go in there. So this is it. And then if I overlap it like this, I can see that the kick, because it's in red, is the loudest thing in the mix. So when this comes to go to mastering, or when I decide to master it, the kick, you know, could I work on the kick? That's the first thing the limiter's going to hit, right? And it's probably going to be distorting too much before the limiter then starts hitting the hi-hats and the claps and everything else. So what I know is, by looking at this, is nothing needs clipping really besides the kick. I'll need to get it down to get it to sound. Just see if I can trim these off so that when the limiter comes on mastering, that kind of helps reduce it. But I'll only do the clipper on the things that's too loud. Now if there was hats sticking through here and claps sticking through here, you know, they're the ones that I'll be looking at straight away to do some clipping on. But I don't want to just do clipping for the sake of clipping, because it's going to create a distortion in the mix. So let's get a clipper on that. Okay. Okay, so I've seen the size, I saw the kick and I've seen that the size of the kick came down, and that's because the clap was, when it's on the kick as well, that's obviously increasing the volume quite a bit. So I may look at the kick. So let's saturate this, we'll clip this. Okay, see, it's doing something to the top. It's adding a bit of distortion, like here. If you listen to this, it's adding that distortion because it's hard clipping it. But really, with the kick, you might want to try to soft clip it. If you look, it's just taking off them peaks, and it actually the distortion doesn't sound too bad. But let's try soft clipping. I like what that's doing, and it's reducing the peaks on the kick, which means that we can get the track louder in general. I do a whole course on mixing for loudness, and that's just a small part of it. Hey Matthew, in terms of production, where do you take your inspiration for finishing touches from? Will you listen to a set of tracks you like in the same genre and take ideas from it? Or do you troll through sample packs and splice while you're listening to your track? Okay, so the way I work is this. So this track here is just for a vocalist, okay? So this is just a demo to get the vocalist and get something together for a singer. When the singer sings it, what we'll do is we'll then get it and we'll arrange it and we'll mix it and we'll chop up the vocals to how we want it to work. And then what we'll do is we'll arrange the music around the vocals to see if we can do any questions and answers and everything like that. We'll then get bits of the vocals, see if we can chop them up and make them a part of the drums, a bit like we've done here and here, okay? And then what we'll do is I will go through the track, each element bit by bit as we're going along. I'll do it block by block, like 4 bars by 4 bars, and move it across. And just imagine I'm dancing and thinking, do I need something else there? Do we need something else here? And if I think the track doesn't need anything, I'll then go back to it and try and do little things that are just in the background that aren't overdoing it, that are just like small whooshes, a little reverb on the clap every now and then, maybe a bit more stereo spread on the hi-hats in the chorus, you know, anything that I might do. But it depends on the kind of track. So if you're learning, so obviously I've been doing it for years, so I've got a million ideas inside my head through experience. But if you're learning, I suggest, you know, copying a load of tracks with the arrangement, yeah, and seeing what people do and tune into every little sound, every double kick, every little white noise, every reverse, every reverb, every time they open up a filter on a synth, all that kind of stuff. Follow it through the track and just learn from other people that way, or just go into each track one by one, which is what I do. And if you've got any kind of synth or anything like that, just see what you can do by automating it. Automation is one of your best friends going through a track. Automation of volume, automation of stereo width on the top end, automation of saturation, automation of volume, you know, all that kind of stuff is a journey. The way I learned originally was by going in the studio with other people, but I was like sat behind me there, and I was like just closing my eyes and dancing. I wasn't worrying about compression or EQs or a mix. I was just wondering about whether it made me dance. And that's what I do at the end of your record. I play it from beginning to end and just close my eyes, don't look at the screen, and I just think to myself, right, has this got the journey that I need? Because that's the important thing. You know, when I first, back in the day when I was learning, I was overdoing the extra bits that you were putting into track that you didn't need. But I think the key is just the subtleties in your arrangement, that when an A&R's listen to your record, they will listen to it and they'll go, oh, that's good, oh, that's a nice touch, you know. Or there'll be something where you just automate. With a track of work we saw on someone today, we just added a bit of saturation on the sides, really beautiful saturation on the sides above 10k, only in the chorus. And then went into the chorus, just something happened, just felt a bit wider, felt a bit brighter, but you couldn't really hear it unless you were really listening for it. So that means that you're feeling it. And there's all that kind of stuff that you can do. You can you know, automate everything. It's all, and remember, taking things out, yeah, sometimes makes things bigger. And that's the key to it, knowing when to add things and take things away. There's nothing worse than just blocks building and building and building. You know, so if I look at this, it's not building like I've got these two in together, and I've got all three, then I've got just this one, then them two. So that's the first time them two are in, just a string, then just a stab, then the string and the main stab, you know, and then just the two stabs together at the end. And what that does is it just gives a different feeling for each different section of the track. Yeah, it is all about the journey. You know, a lot of music nowadays, isn't it? It's about just going from high to low and high to low. But the music that I'm making, and I know, Matt, you're making, you know, progressive or, you know, melodic, and that stuff is a journey. That is, the more details there, you know, automating each reverb, you know, getting a bit of vocal, chopping up and just creating a build up with it under another vocal into the chorus. Attention to detail is what makes a track a lot of the time. But sometimes you don't need that kind of stuff, so that's where the little subtleties come in. So yeah, that's what I do, and that's the extra 5%, you know, taking it to that level. But there's no point in me doing it yet. There is a few little bits in here. I mean, this track was done, but then I'll automate. I've forgotten here the master, and I'll automate the volume down in the break, so when it kicks in, it hits harder. But the problem you've got is it depending on what's in the break. So that's like 2 dB lower, which is a lot. It's normally 1 dB, which means there must have been a big build-up. So when the energy builds up, it would have been too high for the drop. So then you just turn the volume down on it. So when the drop comes in, the drop always needs to feel like it's lifting a little bit. So I'll do that, and then I've got Endless Smile on, which is just something that creates like reverb and delays all in one plugin. That's just there for speed, because this is a demo. But many of my clients use Endless Smile on different instruments and different things, so they'll have like 6 over the project, and it works. It adds, just, you know, it's an all-in-one, which I'm not a massive fan of a lot of the time, but I do use a tool room one. My friend James Reynolds designed Infinite with tool room, which I do use quite a bit. Endless Smile's just easy. I just put it on there. That was just a quick one, but let me just show you that plugin. So that will need to go there actually. So you put it on, it goes like this. So it's good for all that kind of kind of stuff. It's like a white noise and a delay and a filter all gone into one. And then you've got infinite. And this is a very similar, it's a bit more detailed, to be quite honest with you. I don't really use it a lot. I don't use these a lot. But if I wanted to have something a bit more complex, then this has got more different kind of things. It's really good. That's by Toolroom. And James Reynolds, who's one of my mentors, he designed it. So there's a few more people on now. It's a last minute stream, but any questions, anybody? Anything you want to ask? About mixing, about the music industry. Some people like to ask about DJing. Just let me know. So I'll go into this. It was just a quick master. And Matt and I made this record, so cash only. We made this record about 18 months ago, and we wanted Alex Mills to do the vocal, but she didn't want to do it. So, well, she didn't want us to use the vocal now. So we're just going to redo it. So today I've just loaded it up to get it ready to send to a vocalist. So if you know any vocalists or you're watching this, tag them in, and we're looking for a vocalist for it. So I did a bit of an EQ, bit of a low cut, which I don't normally do, but obviously there must have been quite a rumble. Little cut at 111, that would have just kind of separated the top and the bottom. And it doesn't always work, but sometimes it does. I did have this on originally. Pultec, a little bit of a boost, a little bit like a smile, bottom and the top. And then today, I just thought I'd chuck this on and see what it sounded like. I used a preset called Master. This is a beautiful sounding plugin, and I'm just getting used to it. It's stereo width and it's harmonic EQ. It just sounds really nice, and you can really push it. Let's have a listen to that on and off. Just kind of concentrates the mid-range a bit and kind of stereo spreads it a little bit. It's really nice plugin. This. It's one of the best plugins. I bought the bundle actually. There's a bass lane that I was just talking about before, which makes your bass wider, and Unison, which is a mastering compressor, which I haven't got round to using because I've just been really busy. Then got the God particle, which works sometimes it doesn't work. I like what that's doing to the top of the bass. It sounds really good. I've got a virtual tape in there. I don't know why I've got that in there. I must have had it on original, and I've started mixing into it, so I can't take it off. And then I've got Ozone 11. Ozone 11, just a bit of low-end focus, which gives it a bit of punch. I don't use Imager on my masters anymore. I don't use Exciter on my masters. Clarity is really good, just to giving it a bit of clarity in the top end, especially if I've got vocals. Turn it on and off, see if I like it. Let's see what that's doing. I really like that. And then I've got Maximizer on there. And what I'll do with the Maximizer, I'll listen to the delta, see what it's doing to it, and change between modes. So you can hear with delta mode all the distortion that's going into that. So I'd probably bring it back, to be honest with you. mindful of I'm always mindful of clipping, saturating, limiting, because you can really kind of add a lot of distortion that you don't want. Oh, sorry, I'll turn the mic up. Is that better, 9? Is that better? Can you hear me? Thanks, 9. Yeah, it's a garage track, and the guy I made it with, cash only, was Sam Devine's husband. We made it a while ago because Alex Mills, we've got a vocal of Alex Mills, but we're not using that vocal now. So I've just loaded it up today to so we can send it out to vocalists. Bit of a meet between a bit housey, a bit garagey, but yeah, we both like it. We just listened to it for the first time. Matt listened to it for the first time and he went, "Oh, I've just listened to it. I love it. Let's get a vocal on it." So I'm going to hit up Sweet Female Attitude, Leanne, who's I know from Manchester. She's that track Flowers. She's an amazing singer and an absolute pro as well. So, but if you know anybody who might want to sing on this, let us know. Any questions for us? Again, the drums are a little bit thin. I've got some more drums here, but that was my side of it. They were a bit housey. I think we'll probably go on a full bit garagey with this one. Actually, I quite like that drum loop. It sounds quite good, actually. It's quite skippy. Okay, so garage is all about the groove, right? It's all about the groove and the swing, and there was big wide swings and everything else. And what I will do regularly is, let's just say I've got a garage loop. So let's go back to Matt's sample pack. Go to Matt's sample pack. And I'll go to grooves, drum loops, right? So I'll find like something like this. And what I'll do is I will just drag that in. So find a groove that I really like off an old record. Double click on that. Okay, let's just mute that. And then what I'll do is I'll just go 111 from here. Where's that? 111 from here. And I'll bring that to there. And then I'll go crop clip. And then what I'll do is I'll get it and I'll extract the groove. So I'll go right click in there, extract groove there, and then it'll come up here with the name of the file. So I've now got that groove, right? I've made sure that the kicks and the snares are on the perfect, but the rest of it's kind of off a little bit. And then what I'll do is I'll then go into all my drums, all my loops. I will groove and I'll go to quantize 16, so do not quantize at all. Okay, and then I'll go apply that groove from that. And I think it's better to do it this way if you've got a real drum loop or something like that. Yeah, 9, that sounds amazing. If you would just send them my way on Instagram. So you get that groove, and then you've just got a groove that isn't the same as everyone else's. So I don't know how you do that in in Logic. I'm not quite sure if you got that option to do it, but extracting groove and applying it to everyone else in the track is really good. But for this track, I got a groove that the same kind of thing. I created it myself. So it was a swing 67, 67, and then I put a loop in and I moved a couple of things on the groove so that it wasn't quite the same as the MPC 67 swing. And that's why I called it garage, because I've changed it a little bit. And then I just apply that to everything. And then I might move claps forward a little bit. Just don't want it to be too straight and too obvious. Guys, this is unannounced today, but I'm going to be doing it every single Tuesday. You can ask me any questions that you want. If you want to sign up to get the email when we're going live, and also some free videos, tutorials, you can sign up at subtonemusicacademy.com. Sign up for the taster plan. You'll receive all the emails, and I'll let you know when I'm doing this. I'm also doing mix reviews, so if you want your track mixing or a review of your mix within an hour, they seem to be quite popular. I'll do that for free as long as I'm allowed to stream it on here. And yeah, the link's going to be below. The link is below for the Academy, where you can just go and sign up. I do a one-to-one mentorship. Matthew has been on. He's done it, and we just identify your areas where you want to improve. And generally, 90% of the time, we're taking people back to the basics and the fundamentals. It's 10 sessions, sometimes 15, depends on where you are. And people just, it changes the way they produce, you know, going from finishing tracks but never getting signed, but finishing tracks that sound great and getting signed. So yes, any other questions for us? Any questions for us, 9? Thank you, Matt. I just thought I'd jump on today because my birthday tomorrow, so I'm going away for a few days, so I'm not going to be able to come online. But I'm going to do this every Tuesday. Unless you want it a bit more often, just let me know. Any questions before we go? Hey, 9. Okay, she worked with Fred everything and did a few high bias records. I bet you'd love her. Oh my gosh, I love Fred everything, you know. And yeah, high bias, yeah, brilliant. Please do, 9. I would appreciate that. Matthew, right. Okay. Matthew. I do go through splice sample packs, but Matt said do I go through sample packs stuff like that, but I never do it while I'm producing. I never. The biggest killer of vibe and creative flow is searching for something. So like here, when we started doing a bit of garage with Matt, who's cash only, we just created our own sample pack and just got all samples. These claps, there's only 5 claps in there, but there's always something I can use. You know, the open hats are really good. You know, they're all just, the rims are just, we're just going to use them every single time. Snares. I'm not going to be trolling sample packs, and I've got the same with effects and all that kind of stuff. A lot of the time when I'm doing the final 5% at the end, Matt, what I'll do is I'll try and automate things, little reverb, things that are different but subtle. Do you know what I mean? So that if someone like me is listening or an A&R, they go, oh, that's a nice touch. Evening, Siebes fam. Hope you're good tonight. Jason, how is the Jomox kick thing going? Well, it's over there now, and I love it. I do really like it. It's just a better kick. I've got to be honest with you, kick 3 is pretty close, but I dragged the kick from that, put it into kick 3, and it wasn't quite the same. It didn't have the same punch and everything else. There is a difference between digital and analog, 100%, when it comes to sound choices. And to be honest with you, I'm having a nightmare, right? So as you can see over there, at the top I've got the Arturia. I bought the Arturia Beat Step to go with it, right? Because you've only got like a couple of buttons and a couple of knobs on the Jomox M-Bass 11. So for people who don't know, what Jason was asking was how much I bought a new drum synth. So it's an analog synth that creates your drum for you. But I got a controller to go with it that I've seen loads of people on the internet using, and I just can't get it to sync up. It's like getting a MIDI controller to sync up with an analog synth that has got no, it's not like you can see you've got the option to assign a MIDI controller. There must be a way around it. They must have to either go through the computer or, yeah, I don't know how it works. And I've scoured the internet, and all the people who've got them and do it, I've messaged them and no one's replied to me, which is not very nice because I always reply to everyone. So yeah, I am liking it. It's just a different hit, and that's it. You know, it's just like using the Moog bass instead of a plug-in bass. Just hits harder because it's just not numbers. You know, that's the best way that I can explain it. I might do a video actually of kicks and A/B them. Thank you for the kind birthday message. Matthew Holden Jones says, for debut releases, would you send to DJs to see if it gets played, or aim for labels the off before choosing self-release? Well, if you're talking about that track you sent me the other day to play, Matt, you know a few people, you've networked. Depends who the DJs are. If you're not DJing, it's always good to get some feedback from the club. Always, as long as you're someone you can trust. I wouldn't mail it out to loads of people because then the record label won't want it because then they know it's out there. So it's totally up to you. It's all, listen, the club test is the club test. It's super important. You know, a lot of times you can finish a track in the studio, but then when you play in a club, you look at the crowd and think, oh, something not quite right there, or the energy just doesn't feel right. You know, playing a record in a mix at the end of when I finished it is a key part to what I do. The first thing I do is get on the decks behind there. My birthday tomorrow, Siebes fam. Thank you very much. Getting old. So yeah, send it out to people who might be able to play it and give you some good constructive feedback before you do any final tweaks. You know, it's obviously I was making tracks when I was on the road, so I was playing them out and I was seeing where they were going right or where they were going wrong, and that's what I miss now, is being in the clubs and getting the feeling, seeing what's going on. And if you can get someone to give you some constructive feedback or go and watch them when they're going to play it, then you can make your own decisions. Then you can make decisions whether something's right or wrong. But the club test is the key part of it. It's called road testing it. Thank you for the birthday wishes, everybody. Okay, how does every Tuesday sound to you guys for doing this? Or shall I do it more often? Okay, guys, if you've enjoyed tonight, please like, share, subscribe. That would be great. If you want me to mix down your record as a review, DM me on Instagram or send me a message at the Subtone, and we'll do it. Tonight I just jumped on last minute because I've just been so busy catching up from January that I just thought I'd better get this done because I'm going away for a week. But I'll be back next Tuesday. So yeah, I'll see you then. Please tell your friends. Yeah, I'll see you soon. And anyone else who's watching, who's not leaving messages, please jump in. No question is too stupid, or we're a like-minded set of people. We're all here to learn, including me. So yeah, leave some messages afterwards in the comments and let me know what you want me to prepare and plan for, and I'll do it. Okay? No problem, 9. The missus just doesn't like them because I cook tea, you see. And she prefers my cooking this time. All right. Take care, everyone. Have a great week, and I'll see you soon. Thanks for tuning in.